Hello and welcome to the special edition of the fucking idiots who don't wear sleeves on their shirts podcast. I'm Sleeveless Tom, and over here is Sleeveless Joe. And thank you for listening to DWN Productions THC podcast, sponsored by Fast Custom Shirts with Sleeves at BOYGOB.com. Joe, how was your week? Full of
Hey
sleeves,
Tom,
I hope.
it was a sleevy. It was a sleevy week indeed. What happened? I got my vehicle back shortly before we headed out of town. Got a call. Hey, your vehicle's ready. Well, shit. All right, so we went and picked it up, drove it across the street from his shop to my shop, and that's the most driving I've done in it. So I don't know. We'll see. But Tom, I noticed you have a new friend back there. What's that all about?
I do. Shout out to Mr. Donald Brown. You can find him on Facebook. He does like wood cutouts and shit. It's two different layers, so it's kind of 3D ish. But yeah, I'm not looking back because of that. I'm in a much lower chair now, and it fucks up the whole frame of how I had it before. And I'm in the office, so you just see a bunch of garbage in the background. And I'm not quite sure what is actually in the background, so I'm thinking I should actually stand up straight so you can't see it, you see. So yeah, I think next time I'm getting the old chair back, but that doesn't matter. I'm glad you got your fucking car back. It's been 18 weeks. You're gonna have to take another course in driving again to learn how this fucking machine works, but that's okay.
I think
I
my
believe in
license
you.
did expire during that time, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
I think it expires on your birthday.
Mhm. Other than that, we Lisa and I were in Houston. H Town they call it, and
Screwston.
Lisa wanted to go to this farmers market she'd saw online, so we went. And pretty big place, but it wasn't what I consider a true farmers market. Where actual farmers bring shit that they've grown and that they've cultivated and cleaned and made presentable for people. This was all a bunch of Mexicans selling a variety of fruit and shit that they bought wholesale and now are reselling it. Which good looking fruit, good looking stuff. And there's like shit, maybe 60 people like with little booths or whatever, and they're all selling the same shit, all of it exactly, like from rotor. It's like, how the fuck you make any money? You all have the exact same products. Oh no, this guy's got carrots. I don't think anybody else here has carrots, but that was the exception to it all. So I mean, cool, but still not what I expected. And I haven't been to Mexico in a long time, but in Mexico, there's like a real aggressive sales tactic, where like, oh yeah, come and look at this, and come and, you want a taste of this, we'll cut it up, and they're shoving it into your face. So a lot of people were like that out there, it's just like, hey, you just got to walk up with your hand out, like, fuck off. All right, I'm just looking.
No moleste.
Yeah, but across the street, there was a store that just sold spices. Like you would go in there and like load up on oregano, right? Uh, Lisa bought all kinds of weird
I
shit.
might have, but
Yeah, Lisa doesn't really care for
I
black
want to say
pepper,
if it wasn't called
so she brought white pepper. Did you know there's such a thing as
African
white pepper?
I do.
Yeah. Well, I know you're more partial to
I
crushed
do.
red pepper, right?
It's all right.
Yeah. There's a bunch of cool shit in this place, a bunch of different teas. And if you want like special medicinal teas, they had it already mixed, for like, hey, arthritis tea, hey, gout tea, hey, cure everything tea. But one guy did walk in there.
Keep
You know,
talking about your teas. I'll be back.
yeah. So one guy walked into the place. What the fuck? See now, like I don't know what side of this thing I'm on. Oh, I'm in Tom's world over here, but this is usually my side right here. So anyway, folks, god damn it. I guess I can look under this guy. This guy walked in. He said, I've been having problems with my gout or no prostate. Like I got an inflamed prostate. Do you have anything for that? And I quit listening by that point, but I think they did find him something. So that was kind of odd. And I'm not a good friend, or else I would have looked and seen if they had anything for Tom's diabetes. I'm sure they do have tea for diabetes and eczema. You pour like a hot thing of scalding tea and just toss that shit right on your face, and then you look burnt instead of all eczema. So that would have been good. But yeah, that place was cool. I think Lisa walked out of there with like $100 worth of spices. So she's gonna be cooking up a storm for the holidays with new spices.
The good thing about buying that much spice is that you'll never have to worry about buying spices again. Lisa probably, but you know.
No, I won't. No. If I'm gonna make something, it's like, oh, do we have this weird ass shit that I've never heard of? Lisa, we got this. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
And all the pepper you'll ever need for the rest of your life.
White pepper. That, the good kind.
In case you want to make a superior dish.
Right.
Use the old white pepper.
And then from there, we went to the National Museum History, Funeral History Museum. This is a museum dedicated to the art of funerals and things associated with funerals, Tom.
You couldn't wait a month and a half?
I want to know what I'm in for. Ask them, hey, what's all this going to cost me? You got a thing on pricing? Actually,
that's something you shouldn't worry about.
They did. Sir. They had old ledgers that so and so paid $300 or no $350. It was an old fucking ledger. But I'm thinking like a lot of these quirky museums. I thought, well, okay, this is going to be like the size of a garage, or maybe like a 2-car garage. But this was a big place. It had all kinds of stuff. It had like a bunch of old hearses that looked real cool. They had one hearse bus that they tried to make at one time, but it didn't really work out. What did they had like one guy had like a
what would that be used for?
So everybody can ride together,
Oh, I thought it was like for a shit ton of caskets.
Well, I mean, there was a spot for like 2 caskets at a time. So yeah, they tried using it once, and it was too back heavy. So when they were going uphill, it like turned, over and dropped some shit. The caskets fell back towards the people. So that thing wasn't in. It didn't become popular usage.
Hey Joe, you remember 9/11?
I do. There was a little tribute to 9/11 there too.
Is that when they invented the bus for all the caskets?
Maybe. Well, that probably would have been urns, because there was just a bunch of ash people and stuff. But yeah, there was a good collection of urns there, and they had like a celebrity section, giving tribute to people like Paul Bearer. Because this guy like had a collection of those little pamphlets they give you at a funeral, that might have the person's picture, or it's like, hey, we're here to celebrate the life of so and so.
I know it is like a laminated card.
Now it is, but it used to be like a little booklet, or just a sheet of paper, and it would tell you like their dates or whatever. But I don't know if you can see this one on here, but I took a picture of this one for
Is that,
you.
I was gonna say, is that Patrice? It sure
It is.
is.
So I knew
So
that
they
would
had
have.
that.
I knew that
They
was
had
gonna
what?
get you right there.
They had celebrity fucking death cards.
Yes.
What
Yeah.
kind of ghoulish place is this?
Surprisingly, there was no.
I remember.
Well, there was like a little House of Horrors section where they, it's all about the
Where
Pope.
they had wax figures.
Yeah, of the popes that have passed away, and how the popes are buried, and the different rituals they do for them. A lot of shit in
Did
there.
they have the? Did they have the Pope from the cover of The Little Mermaid with the erection?
No, they didn't have him. That's worth some money.
All right.
So I've heard. I don't know. I don't know anybody that has it or sold it, or I think it's a fucking myth, that whole thing. But
no,
yeah.
there's that. He's definitely hacking wood.
If you're around the Houston area and you don't know what to do in Houston, go check out the Funeral Museum. It's an interesting walkabout.
Go see their wall of dead celebrity pamphlets.
Now, there was no nothing there about the tall man. You would have thought, he's like a funerary icon, but nothing. No acknowledgement, nothing.
So is this like a tongue-in-cheek place, or was it some serious?
It's some serious shit. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought this is gonna be a hoot. I was like, you know what? Parts of this are pretty depressing.
Especially the fucking how they put the little kid's feet coming out of the Pope's cloak. The wax.
That's what I'm saying. That was the House of Horrors section. Yeah, they did have some of those little kid caskets, and those are kind of weird.
They're just so small.
Yeah, and like some of the older caskets,
so full of life,
some of the older caskets were really fucking thin. It's like, I mean, what, was nobody fat back then? Because like shit, everybody's fat now. I mean, who's gonna fit in these things?
Yeah. I think
there was
the
one casket. Now check this one out. This was, I thought, really interesting. There was a huge casket, and it had like two pillows and a little pillow in the middle. And so the little, placard that you read says like, this couple, their child died. So they said, fuck it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to have a casket made for all three of us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot you, wife, and then I'm going to kill myself. We'll all be buried together. We'll have the kid dug up, and he'll be buried with us again. And it's, hey, you know what? We should call the cops on these people and have them like thrown in an asylum or something. They built the fucking casket, but the family decided to change their mind. Nah, we're not going to do that. And after the husband died, the wife, this bitch, has the audacity to call and ask for a refund so she can get money to have him a regular casket by himself. But they said no. The company's changed hands like twice already, lady. We don't know who you are. Oh, you're the one with this weird ass casket we can't do anything with. Maybe someday in the future we can donate it to a museum or something. That's where it is now.
And then you go to the next exhibit, and it's Chris Benoit's death card.
It's exhibit
with the receipt for the fucking casket he purchased from the lady.
Damn Benoit.
Hey, welcome to the Giggling at Horrible Shit podcast. I'm Sleeveless Tom.
How was your week, Tom?
Oh, shit. So I still got a question about this fucking House of Death you went to.
The funerary.
How was the gift shop?
The gift shop.
How was the gift shop?
It's when you go in and out through the gift shop, and
How they get you?
really nothing. It's like they were selling like Day of the Dead shit and like some skull stuff. Nothing cool. Nothing. Nothing like I thought. If they'd have had it, I would have got a magnet. For the fridge. National Funeral Home Museum.
Made out of a dead child's skeletal bone.
Mm-hmm. But nope, nothing. We didn't buy
Just have
anything.
a fucking dead kid's toe on your refrigerator.
Their T-shirt actually looked pretty good, but I ain't buying no fucking T-shirts. If you want
Make your
T-shirts,
own.
go to fastcustomshirts.com and get yourself some T-shirts there. But yeah,
There's
that's
a link down at the bottom of that picture if you click on it.
yeah. I
Just
didn't
keep
know.
touching your screen until you get to it or your fucking monitor breaks. Either one. Joe, I just got a thing on my phone. I had a reminder that I had to remind you of 2 movies that you wanted to watch before the year's end. And since next week is the year's end, got to remind you to watch old Morbius and Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
I'm sure that'll be making your fucking top of the year list because that dude's stuff always does. So there you go.
Cabinet
I
of
got
Curiosities ain't making no list. That's for sure.
what's a TV show?
Yeah, or mini movies, as some people like to call them.
But one mini movie might be making your list, I think.
Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna make a list. Yeah. In fact, I wasn't even talking about your DWN thing when I said you got a friend message. I was talking about Ted, which is right below that.
It is. It was holding it up, but here's something else. Called decaf. He's going to talk in the next one. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
R.L. Stein directed. Yeah, I got one more to watch this coming up week. I think it's in German or Swedish. Can't wait, Joe. Can't wait. But let's get these old movies out of the
Well,
way.
wait a minute. Today you were doing some repairs or maintenance on some lawn equipment.
Ah, yes. I had to fix an accessory for the old lawn tractor, as John Deere calls them. But this isn't a John Deere product. It is a Craftsman product. It's this gimmick you hook up to the back of the lawn tractor that pulls behind it, and it'll like sweep up all the leaves into this big basket type thing on the back, and then you pull the rope and it'll empty it into a pile. I think I got it to work relatively easy. It was a relatively easy fix, I think, but sorry. They always get me, and then I got an error. But anyways,
Every time you
yeah,
say basket, is when it pops up.
But yeah, it was a relatively easy fix. I think I just wasn't able to fully test it out because it rained last night and this morning. So, I can't be driving the old lawn tractor around and rutting up the grass and shit. So I'll give it a day or two and see if I fix the fucking thing or not. And if not, I'm just going to throw it on the goddamn roof because this will be about the 5th time of me trying to fix this thing. But this was the last piece that could have been the problem. So fingers crossed, Joe. Fingers crossed.
I'll light a candle for you.
And all my fucking pumpkins are dying. That most people plant pumpkins in the spring, but I plant pumpkins when people are harvesting their pumpkins. They plant in the spring. It was fucking unseasonably cold here for about a week and a half, and it was just raining, flooding everything. and then fucking a whole bunch of bugs came and ate them. And since it was so cold, it killed all the bees. So at least I know what to do next time in the spring when you're actually supposed to plant the motherfuckers. But
You'll be ready.
yeah, it was an old
Forewarned,
test.
forearms. I think they say.
Sure, I don't speak Greek, but to each their own.
Yeah, but yeah, continuing the onslaught of movies from 2022. Tom, I've watched quite a few again this week. I watched a movie called The Last Thing Mary Saw, and this is another one that I watched on Shudder. This starts out, this lady is on trial and she's got like a blindfold over her eyes, but you see like blood coming down from the blindfold, Tom, so you know something happened to her
Can I
eye.
ask you a question?
You can.
Are we gonna find out that justice is blind, Joe?
Yes.
Okay.
No, not really.
All right. You sure that's not what that was supposed to mean or anything?
Could have been. I'll have to watch it again. I wasn't thinking that literally.
Seems a little on the nose, Joe.
It could be. So, anyway, what's going on? Why is she blind? Oh, wait a minute. The movie's called The Last Thing She Saw. So let's flash back. And so we're flashing back, and she is lives on a farm with I don't know, dad, mom, grandma, a couple other people, and a maid. Turns out she's fucking the maid, and you can't do that kind of shit in this Puritan times, because it's pure. And lesbianism, that's not a pure thing. So what they
But
do is
I'm sure the maid's a different nationality too. So
maybe, yeah, she's probably Scottish, and I think they might be Irish, and it can't be miscegenating like that. So
Hatfields and the McCoys.
yeah. So it's about them trying to keep their secrets, and they get caught, and they're kept separate, and they're punishing them by making them kneel on rice for hours. I don't know if that would hurt or not. It's surely not comfortable, but they made it seem like, hey, this is the fucking worst. So they figure the only thing that's going to get us out of this is if we poison the grandma, because she's the one that's doling out all the punishments. So they do. But then, like, the grandma comes back or something. Or, I don't know. There's some crazy witch shit going on. And what is a very slow movie to begin with, midway through gets pretty interesting, pretty good. I dug it.
What was that word?
Good.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, The Last Thing Mary Saw, right before I watched it, or before I watched another movie, this is the last movie I saw. So I'd recommend it if you're into stuff like the witch or folk horror, I guess I should say, because that is the term that's popular now.
So what was the last thing she saw? That other girl's pee hole?
No, she saw the matriarch come back and pluck her eyes out for being a lesbian.
So probably fingers.
Yeah, fingernails.
Fingerprints were the last things I seen.
Mm-hmm.
Would recommend.
I just said so, yeah.
Just confirming there, Joe.
To the folks that like folk horror.
Oh shit. Well, the old Clerks 3 Blu-ray came out this past Tuesday, Joe.
But you saw that movie and talked about it already.
I did, but this is the Blu-ray.
So you watched the commentary then?
I did.
I know.
The commentary is, it's all right, but the documentaries on there are where it's at. There's 2 feature-length documentaries. One's about the making of Clerks 3, and the other one's like 30 years of Clerks. Both really fucking good. The only thing out of this whole special features collection that really rubbed me the wrong way is Kevin Smith's like thing he does. Maybe it's a verbal crutch or just like how I say man a lot. He'll say kids and refer to everybody as kids. And I don't know, that just gets under my skin because it's like, if he was talking to me, I'm like, I'm a grown man, you son of a bitch. What the fuck is this shit? So if you can get past that, maybe that doesn't annoy you, but that just rubbed me the wrong way for some reason. But he says that shit a lot and often. So if you can get past that, both documentaries are really fucking good. Maybe better than the movie, maybe helps the movie out, but I always like the documentaries that he put out on the movies that I like, and this happened to be one of them. And
I
in the
don't think I've
Clerks
seen a single
documentary,
one.
well, I don't know why you would.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
always say you don't care about making movies and shit like that, so why the fuck would
now
you watch them?
especially now, if I know he's gonna be like calling me kid or whatever.
and not and not like in a cowboy way
Yeah,
either, like in a
I think I
cool
would.
cowboy.
Yeah, I'd probably punch him in the arm if he said that to me.
And you'd probably break it because he's not a big fat guy
Yeah,
anymore.
he's looking all brittle and shit.
Yep.
Hmm.
So don't do that. You'll probably kill the fucking man. But yeah, I don't know why that just rubbed me the wrong way. Because he comes off a little up his own ass. Like it's been a while since I've watched one of these. I think Clerks 2 was the last time I watched the documentaries for his shit or whatever. Comes off a little more up his own ass for sure, but I still liked it. It was both of them were good. The Clerks documentary talked about the animated series a little more, so it's always good to get more talk or any information about the animated series because because quite frankly, that's the best shit that he's ever done. So I would say if you're into the Clerk shit, definitely pick this Blu-ray up because it is worth it. And the movie ain't half bad either. I would say it's about 1/3 bad, but maybe that makes up for it. I don't know. We might get into that next week, Joe. It might be sitting right next besides all we're all going to the World's Fair. Who knows? Who fucking knows?
Well, we'll be
But
talking about that one next week for sure.
maybe twice.
Tom, I flipped over to the old Disney Channel, Disney Plus, and I watched Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Now, Chip and Dale, the TV show, that's of your era, right?
Yeah, but I was never into that or Tailspin or the Scrooge show or whatever the fuck.
Darkwing
I
Duck.
never, yeah, I never gave a fuck about any of that shit. I was Hanna-Barbera and Marvel, sir. I had
All right.
class.
Well, Chip and Dale's Rescue Ranger is it makes them like, hey, they were in this TV show back in the 90s or early 2000s or whenever that time was that this shit came out. And they had a falling out. So they haven't really talked to each other since. But now one of their co-stars from the show is in a bit of trouble. So they have to get together and help him out, like reunite, put the band back together. And this is a lot like Roger Rabbit in that it's played like that, like cartoons are real, they're in the world, they're doing shit, and so you get a lot of cameos of shit. I don't remember Sonic, not Sonic, but Dumb Sonic or something, the Hedgehog thing. I don't know. I didn't. I only played one of the Sonic games. Um, Baloo from the Jungle Book, he's in there. He's a big cartoon celebrity star, and this is just a silly movie, but it works. It's fun. It's if I didn't have a whole lot of other shit on my list, this probably would make my best of the year. This is a surprisingly good year after the past 3 shit years of movies. There's a lot of good stuff, and you know, this is not just a flick for kids. I think kids would enjoy it, but adults will get it, and it's not one of these things that's just entirely nostalgia fueled. It doesn't. It has that shit, but it doesn't rely on it totally. It's not like pounding you over the head, like, "Hey, remember this, huh? Huh, everybody, remember this?" It's done really well. I enjoyed it, and I do recommend.
I'm glad to hear that, Joe. I really am. I took Screambox for a spin. This is one of those Prime channels. I guess it's a Shudder's competitor,
Mm-hmm.
Screambox. And I watched a documentary that I was trying to look for maybe a year or so on and off. Just saying, hey, is this anywhere yet? Is this anywhere yet? And then it finally popped up on there. So started my free trial, canceled it today, and watched the documentary Snapper. And turns out it's only about 20 minutes, and it's not about pussy holes. It's about a killer turtle movie that never got made. Uh, it's all right if you like movies about making movies, which you really don't, Joe. But somebody out there might.
I do not.
It's a good idea, you know. Giant fucking turtle going around killing people. Why the fuck not? They did it with every other animal. But yeah, no one just wanted to put up the money for it, so they said, okay, we're not making the movie then. They did some test footage and some production shit, uh just show you what it would look like to try and raise some money. No, couldn't get the money. Okay, bye.
So let's
That's it.
make a 20-minute documentary and try to get some money that way.
No, just letting you know that once these guys try to make this movie about a giant killer turtle and they couldn't raise the money. Maybe they thought their documentary was going to be able to, support feature length, but no. Yeah, I don't know, man. I wasn't expecting it to be just fucking 20 minutes, and I thought there was going to be a little bit more to the story. Not really. It's couldn't raise the money. Nobody wanted to. And I mean, the stuff they did looked all right. They had like a little animatronic turtle and then like a big turtle head they built for the test footage and all that stuff. A couple good kills. I mean, the footage looks like shit, but couldn't raise the money. Okay, bye. Hope you enjoyed my movie. I guess it's not really a movie though. I mean, fuck.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So and
But
then
then
I well,
you can't use it as an extra feature for anything either, right? Because they never made the feature.
mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can only release it to Screambox streaming on
Green
Amazon,
box.
I guess. And then I watched a movie called PussyCake. You ever heard that term before, Joe?
I'm sure somebody said it, but it's not common vernacular where I can remember or pinpoint.
I've never, and I have no idea why the fuck this movie was called that. Besides, it's the name of their band. But why would you name your band that? So I
Because
think
feminism.
I guess, Joe. This is about a female rock band, maybe Spanish, maybe Mexican, maybe they're speaking French. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they were speaking Spanish. And this female rock band is going to their manager's buddy's venue to perform a show there. But some guy opened up a portal and it caused an interdimensional crab slug thing to get through, and now this crab slug is attaching itself to the back of people's heads and controlling them, and just making them puke cum down everybody's throats to incubate them to grow their eggs and shit, a lot like aliens, but nothing gets caught on your face. It's literal zombies just puking cum down everybody's throat. That's about it. At least it was feature length.
Was this also on the Screambox app?
This was. Yep. This sure was. This was another Screambox original.
So, like, you flip through there. What do they have? Anything worth a
Uh
shit? Or
no, not really. I remember the Changeling. They had Periphery or two, which I mean, I guess that's a big one, but I got no interest in that. Let me see if there's any more on here that oh yes. We'll get to that in a minute. Let me just keep my finger on it, but trying to think of what else. Nothing really fucking stuck out. You see, that's the
Mhm.
word. Uh just like what's the other one? Shutter.
Yeah.
It's like all the fucking stuff that I would watch on there, I already have on the fucking shelf. So what the fuck? I don't need this. So it's a lot of that. I don't know, $5 if you watch a lot of streaming shit. I don't. It's mostly stuff I watch in the shop, I would say. Give it a shot. They're giving you a 7-day free trial. I mean, you can fucking go and peruse the shit to see, but I mean, just like fucking the other one, Shutter, it's just a lot of shit you probably already have. If you're an old fucking man and still have a physical media collection, if you're a young whippersnapper, then maybe add that shit because that's how you collect your movies. But I also watched one more, Joe, because I wanted to give this service a fair shot. So I watched a movie that was recommended to me called All Jacked Up and Full of Worms. Have you heard of this, Joe?
I have not heard of this one.
Well, this one is about people getting fucked up on earthworms. They snort them, they eat them, they cut their fucking arm open and lay a worm in it, and that gets them fucked up. It's a goddamn piece of shit, Joe. It's the longest movie I've fucking ever seen in my fucking life, and it was only an hour and 9 minutes long. Fuck. A whole bunch of nonsense. It's just supposed to be gross out bullshit because they're worms or whatever. I mean, that fucking Ted V. Mickles dude, he already did the shit with the worm eaters. This is nothing new. Uh, who gives a fuck? Definitely making a list. They had some fucking monster type creature stuff in there, which was okay. I can commend them for that. But the rest of it was fucking, just hipster fucking garbage. You can tell this was made by a bunch of fucking dildos with the fucking, you hipsters, you know. It's fucking, it's shit. It is shit, shit, shit. I'm all for people, wanting to make the movie that they want to make and doing their own thing. But this was just sucks. It was just nonsense and weird garbage for the sake of weird garbage. And there's this fucking big fat guy, and he's like orders this baby doll, and he's taking care of it like it's his baby, and then he fucking pours milk in his mouth and has sex with it. It's just like, okay, this is, I mean, unfortunately, stuff we've seen in movies and shit before, but it's just garbage nonsense.
So who was that recommended this to you? I mean, why don't you
I
just call them
man, no,
out and
I
tell
don't
them to go
want
fuck
to.
themselves right now?
I'd rather not. He's a fine gentleman.
Right.
But yeah, this was a piece of shit. But I'll tell you this, I'll never listen to the fucking Steve Miller band again. That's for sure. Yeah, but I mean, we'll talk about this one again next week for sure. So if you need something to fill out the bad list, maybe give this one a watch.
I think I got the bad list already. Well, I mean, I got both lists, I guess. But this next one is more than likely going to make a list. I got to look. I got to see, because we're narrowing them down to three, right? So that kind of makes it a bit
Five,
difficult.
and we got five for each, and then three honorable mentions for each.
Okay, so eight. Yeah, that'll work. This movie is called Duel, like two people. Duel. This is a set in the future, but it's not like, hey, there's spaceships and fucking jetpacks and everything. Everything looks the same, but it's the future, And in the future, if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness, you have the option to get cloned if you got the money for it, if you can finance it. And your clone will be with you until the time of your death, so it can learn your mannerisms and all that, and it can be there for your family, to help the family with the grieving process. It's like, hey, they're still here, they're still with us.
All
But
right, let me ask you a question or two. One, wouldn't the clone get the same fucking disease because it's cloned from the same genetic material?
no, the clone's a little healthier than you are. It's in better shape for sure.
So why wouldn't they take the organs or the pieces from the clone to fix the regular, the real person? If they
because,
can do cloning and shit,
because that
couldn't
would
they
mess up the
harvest the
person's psyche. It would fuck their brain up, and they would just want to eat worms.
Sometimes you just have to. Life gets you down and you gotta fucking stick some worms back up your asshole because they're trying to escape. Because you
So
ate
this
that old
lady,
meat that guy had
it
sex
turns
with.
out her terminal illness was like, hey, you're not dying after all. So it'd been like 10 weeks. The clone had been there a while. And the clone decides, hey, I don't want to die. And, takes the person to court, which they can do. And what they do then is they make the two, the clone and the original, have a duel, DUEL, to the death. And the one that survives gets to live the life out as that person. And this movie's really funny, uh, but it's not like ha 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 ha. It's just like, hey, that's fucked up. You know, that kind of funny. I liked it. I liked it a whole lot. I would recommend this. Everybody, Anthony, and all the rest of you people on the chat right now, watch this movie. It is on Hulu if you have that app. If not, it's worth the rent. A lot of people don't rent movies from the streaming services. I sure don't, but I'd say this one's worth it if you do that kind of thing. Duel. I'll be
I
talking
do,
about it more
but I
next week.
won't. So I watched a movie that I said I was gonna watch this week, and it's GWAR. This means war. It was pretty good, Joe. I liked it a lot. If we would have talked about it maybe the day after or the day that I saw it, I'd be like, God damn it, Joe. This documentary was spectacular and it was fucking amazing, and it's definitely gonna make my best of the year list. But after time goes on, thinking about it, it's still pretty good, but it didn't make me want to go listen to any of their music or check out the movies that they made that they were talking about in it. I just like seeing all the shit getting made and like the behind the scenes of making stuff. Because as we talked about, I'm a fan of documentaries about making movies and making stuff. But it had a decent story. I don't really know much about GWAR, so I mean all the stuff and all the rotating members and everything. That was interesting. Uh, it made me appreciate what I do with AXE more. So, like to actually see a visualization of that, like somebody else doing it in a other medium. I guess it's just because I'm just there doing it all day. It's what I do. It's just kind of, yep, it's wake up, do this, go to sleep, wake up, do this. But to actually like see it on screen represented with somebody else doing it, I was just like, hey, that's kind of cool. So it made me just, hey, take a minute to enjoy it. All right, now back to work, you fat fuck. But yeah, it was pretty good. I can say I don't care too much for the dude who was like the one of the original members who left. I don't want to say the hillbilly guy, but the accent and everything. He came off pretty unlikable.
Yeah.
But I guess it was. I can understand it was like his shit that he started, kinda
Mm-hmm.
like the art stuff. But I don't know. It's a sticky situation. I could understand where he's coming from and all that, but he just came off as pretty unlikable. Everybody else seemed like pretty decent, cool people. But yeah, it didn't make me wanna fucking listen to any of their music or uh, check out their movies. I think the big fat guy who came back to be the singer after the lead singer died, I think that's a better sound, but
Mm-hmm.
that's just me. But I'm not going to listen to that fucking either, so whatever. I'd say it's definitely worth a watch and shit. And if we were doing a top 10 with honorable mentions, it would probably make it. But I think there's better documentaries that I liked this year, so we'll see. But when the not DVD but Blu-ray comes out, I will probably pick it up because that'll be a good one to repeat with background noise in the shop or what have you.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I knew if you were gonna like it for what reason. It was like the work that goes behind it, because they're not just a band; they're a show. They're a performance piece. They're out there doing these characters, and somebody has to put all that shit together for them. Or else they're just guys out there, playing in a band. So,
And the lady,
and the lady, yeah, well, she's not part of
hmm,
it anymore. So,
rest in
uh,
empowerment.
yeah, don't you go overdose too, lady. Get it together. Um, yeah, hey, all right, but I mean, you overdose. I don't have much pity for that. Sorry. So,
Yeah,
Tom,
I
yo,
I don't know. People people like drugs.
yeah,
Sad people love drugs. I don't
mhm,
know. I don't know what everyone's different. Just
yeah,
don't try not to hurt anybody else.
right. Uh, I watched a movie called The Outfit. And this is about a tailor, but he doesn't call himself a tailor, Tom. He's real uppity about it. He calls himself a cutter. There's I guess, a differentiation of it if you're English. But he's a tailor. He makes suits, or he makes outfits, hence the name of the movie, The Outfit. Now, his tailor shop, it's got a box there, a little metal lock box. And guys come in and put like little envelopes in it, on occasion.
Check
So,
yes or no.
so it is a drop box for the mob, Tom, or as you like to call them, the outfit. So again, you have a double meaning in the title of the movie, Tom. And one night, the outfit finds out that there is a mole in their organization. Somebody's been ratting them out to the CIA, Tom, and they're going to try to find out who it is. And so hostility ensues in the shop, and it's all done in the same location, so it has the feel of a stage play. But it's really good. The acting is really good, but this is a movie that you're only going to watch once, because after you know what goes on, and it becomes fairly obvious as the movie rolls along. But yeah, it's a one watch, worth a watch, but just once. I believe I also watched this one on Hulu, and I think the guy, shit, I forgot his name, the guy that's playing the lead, he will definitely be nominated for an Academy Award. His performance is outstanding. Everybody's was, but man, he was something else. So kudos to you, Englishman. Kudos to you.
How is his accent?
It's a bit like this, Tom. It's not a very pronounced British accent, but you still know that he's British.
Remember that time Niles the butler admitted to being a fucking drunk to you?
Niles, but whenever you say Niles, I think of fucking Frasier.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Should have got that guy to call.
Yeah, I think he would have been a little more.
He would have been expensive, yeah. But no, I appreciate the Niles the butler. That was a very kind gesture, Tom. And I have, Niles, I would like you to know that I have cut back a wee bit on the drinking.
Unfortunately, he has not. Sitting in the ghetto thinking about how
no, Tom, Anthony, this wasn't a A24 film, but I think like 2 or 3 of the movies I noticed had the same production company that I watched this week. It was like RJ
RJLE.
Yeah, and I'm
That's
noticing
a AMC company, and they're the ones who own Shutter. So
okay.
There you go.
Well, I'm liking a lot of shit that they're putting out. They are my A24. Tom's A24 is actually the real.
Well, I mean, you do love Shutter, and you watch all the slop they trough you. So
I've been
that makes
growing
sense.
a new appreciation for Shutter because, unlike what you were saying, like, oh, it's just the shit you have on your shelf. No, they've got a lot of new content out there.
Yeah.
Not all of it's good, but a lot of the stuff I'm watching I'm going in forewarned by reading the plot synopsis. And I'm not just turning shit on like I used to and getting all fucking pissed off after an hour and a half. So I'm trying to watch stuff that I think I'll have an interest in. And a lot of the times this year, it's worked out for me.
I'm glad to hear that.
Did you watch anything else, Tom?
I did. I watched a movie called Triangle of Sadness, Joe. Have you heard of this?
This one I have heard of, but I don't think I know anything about it.
It's on a lot of the best of the year lists.
That's where I've heard of it. It's on a lot of the best of the years lists from assholes like Esquire, and, Woman's Day, and just some random shit. Why does Woman's Day have a best of movies list? I mean, women go to the movies too, Joe. What?
Not in some countries. They're not allowed. They'll have their fucking feet cut off for trying that shit.
Women don't need no feet.
Well, the chains have to be locked to the refrigerator somewhere, Joe.
And this is the movie?
No.
Or you're just talking about women as you usually do?
In general.
All right.
Because, oh no. So this movie, Triangle of Sadness, is like a mockery. I guess you would call it a satire. That would be the word for it. They're lampooning rich people and models and influencers, and it's kind of looking at your status in life and what would it be like if you were the peasant and now the peasant was the leader and shit like that. It has some really fucking funny shit in it. Like there's a scene where everybody gets fucking food poisoning and they're just shitting and pissing all over on this yacht. And this old lady goes back to her room to fucking shit and piss in private. And they're having really bad turbulence on the high seas. And since everybody's just so sick with this food poisoning, they're all using the bathrooms at the same time and their septic system can't handle it. So this fucking old lady's knocked off the fucking toilet mid diarrhea. All the fucking shit water and shit spilling up, getting on everybody. And as the fucking boat shakes, she's just like sliding around in it, half naked, puking on herself, shitting on herself. It's fucking ridiculous in that they spent so much fucking money to make this thing happen, because this isn't like some fucking backyard trauma movie or anything. This is like millions and millions and millions of dollars made for this fucking movie. But and like 2 hours and a half long. So that just brings a lot of it to a halt because it's so fucking long. If you could have chopped out like a fucking hour and just put all the fucking funny shit together. I get what they're doing and telling it in parts and shit, but
But
it's
Tom
a
just
little.
wants a shit and fart joke compilation.
I mean, that's the best part, the most funny part in the movie, and I think anybody who would say watch this movie, they're telling you to watch it for that like 20 minutes or so. It's a fucking long ass scene, but and then the fucking captain and his dude he's drinking with the whole time, like they just make it worse. I mean, it's funny and it's worth a watch, but it's so fucking long and it's not gonna make the fucking best my top movies of the year list. But maybe if it was a little shorter, but shit. I guess they could have chopped off like the whole first act where you're just getting to know this male model and his influencer girlfriend. Like maybe have that for 5 minutes instead of the fucking 25, 30 minutes that it fucking was. That probably would have helped. But yeah, there's definitely funny shit in it. It's just too fucking long. 100% though, watch it for that fucking captain's dinner scene because it's good shit. And it all fucking stems from because they're like playing on the service industry. They're like, no matter what happens, just say yes to the fucking customer. Like, because the yacht workers, the guests on the boat, this is like a fucking yacht for million billionaires and shit. So they're just like, whatever they ask for, drugs, head, whatever, just fucking say yes, and you'll probably get a big tip at the end. So this fucking old drunk lady, she's just like, you know, she talk like this too, moosh moosh. She says, hey, now you come in the pool and you swim, you be me. You relax and enjoy the moment. So she fucking says, I want all the workers on the boat to fucking go for a swim. So all the workers leave, even the people in the kitchen. The guy in the kitchen's like, hey, if this happens, the food's gonna be fucked. And she's like, well, that's what she wants. So everybody shit and pisses all over the place just because this old drunk lady wanted to be amused by seeing like all the fucking workers fucking entertain her and shit. It's funny, but god damn is it long winded like me talking about this shit. So Joe, I would recommend it, but it's fucking long.
Well, Tom, do you know what a nocebo is?
I do.
I didn't. I had to look that shit up.
You know what it is? It's exactly what it sounds like.
Right. Yeah. So I knew what a placebo was, but had no idea what a nocebo is. So what this is, for those of you who don't know, it's a movie. It's a folk horror movie. So Tom sent me a text. Hey, you should watch this movie, Nocebo. I just watched it on the Scream box, and I think. So I said, well, let me look it up. And all right, this is not streaming anywhere, so maybe I'll rent it. I'm saving like $40 a week, I think, by not drinking as much as I used to.
And gas.
So yeah, so maybe I should like at least rent a movie a week. That it's not streaming anywhere, so I can keep up with the kids. As Kevin.
All right, gas.
So I can be hip, and with it the new stuff. I hadn't heard of this movie at all, and Eva Green is a pretty popular actress, and this is not a big movie, but Tom was right. I liked it. I liked this flick. I don't think I liked it enough to make a list. Probably any other year it would have been close to the top of the list, but this year there's too much competition. This is
like
about
Rescue Ranger.
a lady that's got severe like stress and panic attacks, shit like that, and she's a fashion designer for kids clothing. And then all of a sudden this little Filipino lady shows up at her door and says, "Hi, I am going to be the nanny." Yeah, so she was hired to be a nanny, but Eva Green, she don't remember that shit. She's got panic attacks all the time. She's got a smart ass daughter to deal with and a dick of a husband. So the nanny comes in, but we find out later that the nanny's kind of like a Filipino witch doctor lady, and she's going to help her with her panic attacks and all that. But she's got an ulterior motive, Tom. And well, fuck. I mean, that's all we do is spoilers on this show. So if you don't want to hear it, just like fast forward until you see me shut the fuck up and Tom starts rattling on about something. But with that in mind, forewarned, we learn more and more that the Eva Green character was like a business owner. She was already having clothes made in the Philippines. If you know anything about that, they got sweatshops. They go in there, they make T-shirts, for small companies or whatever. But there was a tragedy. There was a fire, and that lady, that one witch doctor lady, she worked there, and her child was there, happened to be there that day, and her child burned up in an accident because what they do is they locking you in so you won't leave, off the clock and shit like that. And she's there to get revenge on Eva Green, and she does. And this is a good movie. It's very compelling. I dug it. I don't know shit really about the Filipino superstitions or shit like that. I think I've seen one Filipino horror movie called Aswang that was pretty good. This is good. I'll watch this again. I would recommend, like I said, it's not streaming anywhere yet. You can rent it for like $6, which is what I did. And yeah. Thanks, Tom, for the recommendation. You're right. I dug it.
Yeah, the cigarette ash skeleton thing looked kind of cool, but other than that, I had no interest in this. I just go around listening to a lot of reviews and shit. And I was just like, yeah, that seems right up Joe's alley there. So I'm sure this is something he doesn't know about. So there you go. There you go. I watched a movie called Where Dear Joe. This is a Christmas themed horror movie.
I've been told to watch this one.
We'll see, Joe. This is a Christmas themed horror movie about a gentleman and his girlfriend going back home to North Carolina for Christmas. He moved to the big city of Chi-Town, Illinois, and now he's going back to North Carolina, where all the cousins are getting together for Christmas because the parents went to Florida. They got roped into a timeshare or something. So the girlfriend gets bit by a CGI deer. She turns into a were deer, which looks surprisingly close to the cover art, and that doesn't happen much. So that was actually nice to see. And then the rest of the movie is the were deer pawing at the cousins and killing them. It's a lot of this with deer gloves and CGI blood. There's one where the deer goes in the guy's neck, rips open kind of a little bit. That was probably the best effect. But it's a lot of a lady in a deer mask going like a cat pawing at a little mouse toy you hang above its
So,
head.
just to guess here, but I'm guessing when these pawing attacks are happening, that the deer is making some kind of noise.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
Not that
okay.
I
I was
really
going to ask you
remember.
to give us that noise so I could know what a pawing deer would sound
No,
like.
I mean it's like a lot of with CGI, like pretty bad CGI blood splatters. This is definitely not one for you, Joe. This
Was a
is a
CGI deer as bad as the deer in the ring too?
I don't know. I would say it's on par with the deer and cheese balls. So
I thought that was real.
okay, well, uh, yeah, this is definitely not for you. Uh, it needed more for me. It wasn't bad per se for a no budget backyard movie. The mask looks surprisingly good for a no budget backyard movie. So did the paws, but it was a little too tame. And if the gore effects were a little better, like it was played a little too safe, maybe. But I mean, a lot of people are checking this out, so I mean, I guess it worked. Uh, yeah, I mean, you don't like these no budget backyard movies, so definitely not for you. But if you do, I would say definitely give this one a shot. You might like it. I just I need just a little more if I'm going to watch a movie made for like, a couple $100. I need you to throw some interesting or some kind of more entertaining wild shit at me than just a pretty standard movie with I guess kind of a silly premise that it gets old pretty quick cuz like I said it's just but yeah, Joe, I would say you're not going to
Well,
not
I've
for
got
you.
other shit that I need to watch before next week anyway, so I'll pass on that.
Like Morbius.
Yes, Morbius and Pinocchio and
Mm,
Menu. I need to watch Menu.
Is that animated one?
No, the Menu. I think.
Oh, okay.
Um. So Tom, I finished watching Feud, and this is a TV show about making a movie, and this is about the rivalry between Betty Davis and Joe Crawford that was a result of working together on that movie. And you got Susan Sarandon playing Betty Davis and Jessica Lange playing Joan Crawford, and they're both fucking incredible in it. They're great. And if that wasn't enough to kick you on your ass, you also got Joe Montana in there. Not Joe Montana, fuck that guy. You got Alfred Molina on there. I'm sorry, Alfie, that I confused you with that piece of shit, Joe Montana. Oh,
He's your favorite actor of all time, too.
and you got Stanley Tucci in there, and I'm not always a fan of that guy, but he's pretty good in this. And there's some other cameos, but if you like learning the behind the scenes stuff. You know, some of the stuff that happens on movies, which I know that's not for everybody. But I did enjoy this series quite a bit. It's pretty funny the way these two hags just fucking hated each other and would do everything just to fuck over the other one. And the sad life that they had as they grew older and Hollywood kicked them to the can because you're women. You know, we don't want old women in our movies. You know, old men, that's okay. We can still find a role for you, you know. But you old women, once your looks are gone, that's it. Get to stepping. And, good show. Good show. I think it's like 8 or 10 episodes long, and it is also on the Hulu.
Mm. Yes, I got one more. Astonishing Tales of Terror, Rocktapussy, apostrophe. Have you heard of this one, Joe?
I have not heard of this one, Tom.
It's about a news reporter.
Sounds like a Screenbox original.
It is not.
Hmm.
I couldn't find a lot of information on this fucking thing. And half the information I did, it was like all Hindi shit and written in whatever their fucking Arabic fucking shit is. But this was like a multi-racial cast, and none of them looked like really Arab. So I don't know what the fuck was going on, and I'm pretty sure that I seen something about this was shot in Canada. I
Is it a
don't know.
doctor on a boat for like 10 minutes?
No,
Driving his boat around?
no.
Okay.
This is like a action horror comedy. Not a really high budget in the low budget. Like when people used to say, "Oh, it's a B picture," and now that's something somebody shot in their backyard. But this is like a step above that. The sets and everything were good, but let's get to what it was about. Let's slow down and get to what
Get a
this
little
fucking
excited, Tom.
oh, those fucking sets.
Because I mentioned Hitler's girl, and you were like, "Oh,
old Harry water. Anyways, this is about a news reporter who goes and I forget what the fuck she's even going to investigate or report on. Some company's doing something in a cave, and it turns out there's a giant octopus monster, probably not Cthulhu, down there, and women are being sacrificed to it. I mean, they focus a lot on the lead reporter's tits, and then surprisingly, they show them, and that's about the only thing worth a fuck about this movie. I don't know if they specifically cast her because of her chest, but the surgeon did a good job, Joe. It was very Melina-esque. If you've ever seen those more recent renderings or whatever they're called from the new Mortal Kombat game, where Melina has just like perfectly round globes on her chest and just wearing pretty much nothing. That was kind of like the costume and shit that they had her in. But everything else of the movie is just kind of just average, standard stuff. Nothing really great, but I mean, if you like tits, scrub the movie to check them out, I guess. But other than that, nothing's really happening, and this didn't seem like that kind of movie where they would actually show this naked lady at the end because it was a little too tame and kind of fucking corny. It's the
You
kind of
made it to
one.
the end, is what you're telling us, though.
Yeah, I kept watching. It wasn't so bad. It was like, oh, I got to turn it off. But it was just kind of boring and average and standard. And I was just surprised that that happened in this movie because at the beginning of it, I was just like, yeah, this seems like one of those tame movies. I kind of got like a Stan Helsing type vibe from it, kind of like Fido ish, where it's like lighthearted, more like it's hard to explain because I'm a goddamn fucking imbecile. But the tone just didn't reflect the nudity in it. I was very surprised when that happened, but I was like, hey, at least there's something.
Yeah,
Good
there's that.
good for that.
And that has helped carry a lot of movies. You know, a lot of movies people consider classics are carried along by a pair of tits. So, Tom, I watched another film. This is the last one. Um, this is on a lot of top 10 lists, you know, for like magazines like Esquire or Woman's Day or Cosmopolitan. And this is called Emily the Criminal. And this stars a woman named Aubrey Plaza, which is a odd name. It's a kind of odd name, but it seems when I posted about this movie that a lot of my friends are enamored with this young lady, and I'll say that she is not ugly, but she's just like okay, she's not like a fucking knockout that you fucking drool over. She's just kind of average.
She
And,
played like a goofy broad on The Office or one
yeah, I
of
never
those
really
shows.
watched The Office, so
Yeah, but that's where that comes from.
okay. They
Yeah.
like goofy broads then.
I mean, if I it's hard to explain because I've never seen the show, but
Hmm.
I mean, I know what you're fucking talking about. Uh, there's a meme again with the fucking memes out there that kind of sums it up. It's like, "Ooh, that's gross. I love it." Like that's her
Yeah.
thing from
Okay.
the show. So, like I'm saying, goofy broad. You get what I'm saying?
She's kind of like I said. She's not ugly, but she's got some like chipmunk cheeks or something. That's kind of odd. But in this movie, she's a woman that can't
A
seem to get.
goofy broad.
She can't get a regular job, a good paying job. You know, she's delivering food. You know, for some company. You know, they get orders, they put the food together, or they'll cater like a business meeting or something. But she wants a real job. You know, she went to school to be an art major so she could do design shit or whatever. First her mistake, but then she got a criminal record. She's got an assault charge, so that's preventing her from getting a job. Every time she goes in for an interview, this assault charge comes out, and like fuck, what's a girl to do, Tom? Well, she turns to a life of crime. You know, if this guy says, "Hey, call this number and you can uh you can earn $200 real quick," she says, "Well, what the fuck? What would I be doing?" She goes to this meeting, and it looks like it's gonna be like one of those ships where you sell Amway or whatever. But what they're doing is like they're issuing these people credit cards, making them a fake ID. And it's like you're gonna go in this store, you're gonna buy a TV, you're gonna come out, give it to us, we're gonna give you $200. So she does that, and then she's like wanting to do more and more and make more money. And life of crime, Tom, it has consequences. You know, things start to go bad for her, and and it's an okay movie. It's not bad. It's not gonna make my list for sure. You know, I don't write for fucking Esquire or or Cosmo.
However, you do write for Women's Daily.
Yes,
Little known fact.
the Woman's Journal. Um, yeah, I mean it's a decent crime flick. It's kind of depressing because it's like, all right, you know, you should have just opened a t-shirt shop or something, then you'd still be miserable. But yeah, I mean, it's another one that I've watched it and I'll never watch it again. You know, it's just a decent flick. I guess if you're into this chick, watch it. Mm, she doesn't wear a bra through a lot of the movie. Mhm.
It's because she can't afford one,
Right?
Joe,
Yeah,
because no one
bras
will
aren't
hire
cheap.
her.
I don't think. I don't know.
You never bought a bra with those big luscious tits you got there?
No,
Shit.
not yet. I'm
Well,
pre-breasting, as they call it.
you'll start kicking them soon if you don't.
That's all I watched, huh?
Yeah, I think let
Which
me
is
go
quite a bit.
through here. Yep, same here. I think that's it. We've been rambling on for an hour and 20 minutes just
Yeah,
with the first segment, the first two segments of the
shows have gotten
fucking.
pretty long lately. Yeah,
Remember back in the day when we try and keep them at an hour?
right. And we had
Fuck.
trouble doing that.
Hmm. What do we do now? Oh yeah, my bad.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Ravager. Ravager. So let's close out the series, the franchise with Ravager.
Hey, wait, Joe. Let me stop you quick. Since I'm not wearing sleeves and we can get this silly shit out of the way. Looks just like him, right?
it does. It does, Tom.
Spitting image.
Mm-hmm.
One time on set, an Asian woman asked if that was my grandmother.
Did you say yes?
I said, "Oh no, it's this, you know."
My grandmother loved to wear suits.
Yep.
She was a
Hopefully,
trailblazer and a lesbian.
one of these days I'll make friends with somebody who'll fix tattoos for me, but hasn't happened yet. So one of these days.
Let's see. Let's see if I can remember what this one's about because I've tried to put it out of my mind. Okay. Oh, Reggie. He's on the road again, still, whatever. But he's not on the road. He's in a nursing home. And, they're trying to tell him, no, Reggie, this was all bullshit in your head. And fuck, I don't even remember. So this one sucked. This was just not fucking good.
Yeah, this started out as a Phantasm web series that the old gang was gonna do since everybody was still around, and like simple projects you think that are gonna be easy to do, it ends up taking you 10 years to finish, and you end up making a movie out of it. This one is not directed by Don Cascarelli.
And you
This
can
is,
tell.
yep. Uh, this is not shot on film.
You
This
can tell.
looks this looks very digital. Uh, the CGI is plentiful and not very well done
We have a
at
scene
all.
that's straight out of a early 2000s video game where we're going through this post-apocalyptic world and it looks like fucking garbage.
Yes.
Maybe back then, if that was a cut scene in your video game, you'd have thought, that wasn't too bad. But we've already seen 3.5 good movies. So this looks like horrendous horseshit in this.
Yeah, and you know, this probably has the most ambitious script out of all five, and it has the least amount of money. and it's just it's very weird. From what I remember, it was the director who's not Don Cascarelli. I want to say fucking Butch Hartman, but that's the motherfucker who made Fairly Odd Parents. So it's not him, and it's not Fred Hartman because that's the fucking bridge in Baytown. But it's something Hartman. I'm pretty fucking sure.
Phil.
And Phil, he directed this from the bottom of a pool. That's why it looks the way it does. uh, from what I remember, the director convinced Cascarelli that they can do all this stuff because of CG, and they'll be able to do it because of that, and it doesn't work. It really does look like somebody tried to make Avengers Endgame like this big epic on a Polonia Brothers backyard movie budget. I mean, they try, but you fucking you look at Phantasm 2, and then you look at this one,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, how?
Well, I
Like,
mean, see, even the last one, even Oblivion. Okay, it not like I said, it wasn't bad. I liked half of the movie, but you had Coscarelli directing it, who knows the limitations of the budget he has, and he's stuck within that. It's like this guy. It was a. It like I said, it reminded me of a fan film by somebody that obviously loves the franchise but doesn't know how to make a movie and is just too over ambitious. It's just like, yeah, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna have everything. We're gonna have a world of fucking centuries out there. That it didn't work.
yeah, I mean, there's a point in this movie where you're supposed to get fucking, choked up and maybe even shed a tear because you've been following these characters through fucking, what is it, 50 years at this point. You've been following these characters through 50 years of story, and then Reggie finally dies at the end, surrounded by Jody and Mike in a fucking hospital bed, in a plain fucking room with just nothing going on, looking so fucking cheap. Reggie's trying to fucking act his ass off, but there's no emotion that you feel just because everything just looks so bad. And what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, there was no build up to that, to where you were gonna care. I mean, you kind of want him to hurry up and die so this movie can fucking finish.
Like, I think this week was the third time I've watched Clerks 3, and every time Dante dies, I'm just like, fucking damn it. I felt fucking nothing watching this back again when Reggie died. It's, man, such a fucking disappointment. It, part 4 didn't end like, oh yeah, that's the best satisfying conclusion ever for a series. But I mean, in the world of Phantasm, that's the best way you can end it. Shit loops around another dimension. It's gonna keep going on, keep going on. It's never over, motherfucker. And then this one, they just hit you with that post-apocalyptic bullshit, and it's very, very disappointing. Fuck, I'm like,
Well,
this is the first time you've seen it. This
right.
is my second time. It's not as shockingly bad
No,
as the first time I've seen it, but for you, I'm sure you're sitting there like,
there will
what?
be no second time for me.
Yeah.
I'll never watch this again. And to make matters worse, even though Reggie's death scene was like, who gives a fuck? Uh, they even fucking shit on over that by having a a scene after that with the midget, and some comic relief going on there, which was just stupid. Who cares about this guy? He's not, a part of this franchise that you give a shit what, he's going to be walking around the wastelands with one arm or whatever. Dumb movie.
Yeah, the fuck, a lot of shit hurts it. I was gonna say the CGI really hurts it, but a lot of shit really hurts it. Fucking god damn, you would think in these 50 years Michael Baldwin would learn to fucking act or do something, but somehow this is like the worst he's been in these fucking movies.
Yeah, he doesn't. None of his lines come off as true. They don't sound believable at all. He doesn't look believable when he's reading them. It's like he just got the script 30 minutes beforehand or something. And maybe that's the case, but yeah. I wish I'd never watched it.
Reggie's good in it. Like he looks like, he's suffering.
Trying.
Yeah.
He's trying to make something out of this turd.
You can, like, when he's supposed to have dementia, he looks like, if you've ever had anybody that you've seen who has like Alzheimer's and dementia, you can see it in their eyes and his face. And he was acting pretty good. And then you come to realize, oh shit, he actually has this going on. That's why it looks good. And so, I mean, that's sad, but I mean, this took so long to make. Who knows what was where and what was recorded when,
yeah,
or whatever. But he does the best he fucking can. He's probably the best thing about this movie besides the tall man. I mean, his shit was shot a day before he died.
Yeah, and he's looking really rough in this. It was again, you shouldn't have made this movie. It doesn't send him off well either. He doesn't look menacing. He's briefly used, thankfully. So yeah, it was a shitty send off for that actor and this character. But even Reggie, like I said in last week, I didn't really care for Reggie's story arc in Oblivion, so this movie is pretty much all him. So I didn't really care. And the fact that it was so bad, yeah, I cared even less.
Maybe watch this one and have a responsible drinking game if you were of legal age, and take an assumed amount of alcohol every time Reggie's hair color changes.
Take a shot every time you get mad at something.
Don't do that.
No, we don't condone suicide unless it's our own.
You have to make your own decisions in this way. But yeah, what a goddamn disappointment this was. Fucking yeah, we definitely talked about it when it first came out, so maybe I'll dig up that review, and probably not. I don't want to edit a video with that old review for Phantasm Ravager, but hey, maybe go through the archives and find out the release date of Phantasm Ravager, because I'm sure I went to the store and picked that fucking Blu-ray up that day and watched it and was severely fucking disappointed. But shit, we had a good run there for a while.
Yeah, I'd say it is definitely aside from this movie and half of the last one of the better horror franchises out there. I would, it doesn't even past that first movie. They're not really horror. They're more like in the science fiction vein, and I like them. I like the first three are really good movies, and the fourth one is half a good movie, half a really good movie. But yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend them and say if you watched all four, you gotta kind of watch five, but get ready to be in some shit. I'll
Mhm.
fucking maybe in however many years, if I'm still around, I'll fucking watch the old 8K restoration mind chip Neuralink or whatever the fuck.
The immersion,
But yeah, but man,
even the
that
score,
fucking
even the score they fucked up. You know,
yeah, they try and hip it up and
yeah, that wonderful music. And they try to throw in a synthesizer orchestra in it. God, it sounds awful.
yeah, you really fucked this one up, Butch Hartman. You really fucked this one up. But next week we're gonna do the Jack Frost 1 and 2. Maybe I got a lot of shit going on this week, but I do own the DVD, so chances are a lot higher now. But maybe I'll even take time to rewatch that Michael Keaton Jack Frost movie again. So we'll see. But next week we'll do both Jack Frost movies, and Joe may or may not tell you what we're going to start out the new year with. So tune in for that for our very special holiday episode, Joe, complete with something you requested, a holiday overlay.
Oh, that was pretty good. Oh, giant sized Spider-Mans, which should be called giant sized Marvel Team Up. Uh, Marvel Team Up this same month happened to be Spider-Man's teaming up with the Falcon because there is a villain called Midas. He wears a gold costume, Tom, that is made a drug that will make black people fight with each other to kill each other because he wants to get rid of all the blacks in Manhattan.
Crack don't smoke itself, Joe.
Luckily, he's stopped by Spider-Man's and the Falcon. But we've got Marvel giant sized Spider-Man's number 3. And this is Spider-Man's not teaming up with Doc Savage, who is a pulp character that I know very little, if anything, about. And after reading this, I could give a shit about that character. I don't need to know anything about him because this issue, I don't even understand what the fuck was going on. This plot is so muddled. Spider-Man's is summoned by some chick that
Morris Code.
is but with Morris Code. She's from another dimension, but no, it's
He's
Morris.
summoned by Morris Code.
Yeah, and she wears a diamond to cover up her tits and her snatch.
She's silver skinned, Joe.
Yeah, so she's being attacked by some giant radiation monster guy.
Energy Spirit Man.
I
Which
don't
I'll
know.
say this, I like the look of it with the heavy outlines and the two colors. But I mean,
Okay.
I kind of like that. As you can see by that guy in the background, I
Yeah.
kind of like that simple.
Um, but in the past, she tried to stop him before, or did stop this guy with the help of Doc Savage
The help of Edgar Allan Poe, she
and his
fucking trapped
cronies.
this guy in a wall.
Yeah, they trapped him in a wall, and man, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in this issue. This is just dumb, and it's another shit. You charged people extra, like an extra quarter, to read this shit. The sucks. And Ross Andrew, who I said is one of my least favorite Marvel artists. He was on the payroll. He'd come in and knock out an issue for them when they were in a pinch, but his art, it's got nothing to it. It's very mediocre, but I guess you have to have a good story maybe to pump up your artistic flair or whatever. But yeah, this sucks. This totally fucking sucks. I don't know how many more giant sized Spider-Mans they made. Maybe, I think, hopefully only 5. But yeah, I mean, so he didn't even meet Doc Savage. It's kind of like the fucking one with Dracula where they bump into each other on the boat and that's their meeting. This is even less from that. Spider-Man's just watching old home movies. Fucking Doc Savage. Not good.
Yeah, and this one I don't know if it was the scan that I read or whatever, but the coloring was awful. It looked like a fucking kindergartner did it, where the fucking color wasn't even in the lines. It was all bled over and shit. Maybe that was the printing process
That's the
of the
printing.
time, but
They're not lined up properly.
oof, ugly. Visually unpleasant.
Mm.
But I did like one of the first frames where it had like Spider-Man sitting on top of a building and shit. I thought that was composed well, and I was just like, "Hey, this actually has an all right looking panel."
Yeah. Before I read this, I thought, what? After I finish reading this issue, I'm gonna get on the old Wikipedia's and
I'm
get
gonna
some.
go fuck myself.
That was after I finished. I thought, like I'll get some background information on Doc Savage, that way I can like lead in with that before we talk about this issue. After reading this, I didn't give a fuck about Doc Savage, the Man of Bronze or whatever.
So we've done what 140 some issues,
Mm-hmm.
including the anals and giant sized and shit. So I've been thinking about this recently, but only remembered to bring it up till now. Do you think that this shit sucks a dick because of the time it was made, the people who were making it, or the fucking comics code? Do you think that comics code really butt fucked everything? Or do you think it would just be just as bad if they didn't have to worry about their comics being pulled and shit?
Well, I'd say like the early Stan Lee and Steve Ditko stuff. I just think that has not aged well. I mean, you'll hear a lot of old timers telling you like, and I'm a fucking old timer. Okay, that they'll tell you, oh no, those are classics, and when they tell you, because you got to ask them, well, why? What is it that you like about them? They'll tell you, oh, Peter Parker, he struggled a whole lot. But if you go back and reread those, Parker is not a likable character at all. He's a prick, and so your sense of nostalgia is warped. You are not remembering this shit correctly. If you go back and read them, as Tom and I have for the past couple of years, um, it doesn't hold up. Okay, and maybe if we read them at that time and there was no other comics that like, oh, these actually sound like people. They're written like people. Maybe would have liked them then. Obviously, a lot of people did, and that was essential, I guess, or a big. It resulted in Marvel's success, but
After their bankruptcy.
yeah. But then I guess Marvel blew up, and they're cranking out like however many titles a month, and a lot of these guys are writing 5 fucking comics a month, and so of course they're just cranking shit out. They're meeting deadlines, and their stories, um, they look like it, and they feel like it. I don't think like the stuff we're reading now, this era, Jerry Conway, which I know he's a good writer, he's a capable writer, but this stuff is not good. For I think anybody. I think if you'd have read it back then when it came out we're at 1975 now.
Yep.
No, I don't think it was good then either.
And I mean we hit some pretty milestone definitive things like what's her nuts, Gwen Stacy dying
Mm-hmm.
and the Punisher showing up. And it's all just like, okay.
Yeah, we've had some issues, a very few that are not bad. Not saying
I'll
there's
still say the one where fucking Peter Parker goes to see a psychiatrist because he's going nuts with all this shit, and it turns out to be Mysterio fucking with him. That
Mhm.
was probably the best one yet because it wasn't your typical fucking, oh, I got to go stop a bank robber who's wearing a fucking kangaroo suit.
Yeah. I don't know how much longer Jerry Conway has on this. I know he does the shit with the Jackal that's coming up. I think after that he's gone and Marv Wolfman steps in. So maybe that's a turning point for Spider-Man's. But I know that a lot of the Spider-Man comics that I read in the 80s were good. That shit that Roger Stern wrote, that stuff was good. I hope it holds up. But by then, I think Spider-Man's had 3 different titles. Marvel
If
team
we
up.
make it that long, this
Yeah,
would be a good time to say, if you motherfuckers could share this around somehow, we're cutting clips down and putting them on YouTube.
right.
You can help spread that shit to get some motherfuckers watching this. I'd appreciate that shit.
Yeah. Tell your friends if you got any.
Hey, like, share, subscribe, shove a pumpkin up your ass if you're watching this on the old YouTube. Otherwise, we got a fucking image every week that you can share. And just for the love of fuck, please. I will say this though. I did get my first order today in the how did you hear about us comments. It said, how did you hear about us? And their answer was YouTube. And for a second, I was just like, oh, hell yeah. They probably saw the thing. And I was just like, no, it's probably somebody posting a review of a mask from before. And then I shot myself in the head. And this is just another timeline, like in the Phantasm movie that we're. So if you guys could, help share this stuff, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, we'll see what we're in for next week with Amazing Spider-Man issue 141. Sure, it's going to be great, Joe. You like lists, especially ones that we done before? Now I'm just trying to do something to fit into YouTube's algorithm.
I've been known to enjoy a list or two, Tom, especially a list that we've done before. And our top 10 Christmas movies with honorable mentions is definitely something we've done before. So, with that in mind, I took the honorable mentions and made sure these were not movies that were on my list before. I mean, the other 10 more than likely were, and they're probably in the exact same order. But my honorable mentions, Tom, we start with a movie called Ho, Ho, Ho. And this is it's a piece of erotic cinema, Tom. I guess you would call it a porno. So my second honorable mention, Tom, is called The Barely Legal Bitch That Stole Christmas. This is another erotic cinema film.
Oh, that sounds like something a would-be child molester would watch, Joe.
Mm-hmm. The next one, Tom, is called Here Comes Santa with a Z.
Ho, ho, ho.
The next honorable mention, Tom, is The Ghost of Christmas Ass.
What is it about a fart?
And then finally, my last honorable mention is Jizz the Season.
That's fucking terrific. So what's that one about?
It's about jizzing on chicks with Santa hats or something. Well, that's all of these. All of these, I'm sure, have that scene.
Pretty good, Joe. My honorable mention goes as follows. Not a movie. That's why it is an honorable mention. and that is the Trailer Park Boys Christmas special. The last couple years I haven't fucking watched it, but I always try to, except for the last couple years, Joe. And then I have another one that is not a movie, but that is why it is on the honorable mentions. And that is Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Ooh, I
A
forgot that.
goddamn classic. Well, that's all right, Joe, because
I
it's
mentioned
not a
it last
movie.
time though.
And then I have Harold and Kumar's Christmas because it has Danny Trejo in it. And he's a Christmas staple. And then I have the Mel Gibson classic Fat Man. I'll take that shit over that new Violent Night movie or whatever the fuck came out. That motherfucking piece of shit that I've never seen. Just calling it a motherfucking piece of shit because I seen commercials for that fucking movie before Halloween. So on that premise alone, it can go get fucked and I will never watch it because fuck you. At least wait till fucking Halloween's over and then start your ad campaign on November 1st. Just that fucking bullshit has no business being advertised before Halloween. Fuck you. And then I have Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, The Toy Maker, with Mickey Rooney as Joe
Pedo.
Petto. Does he touch kids? Is it a Pinocchio play? Oh, tune in when probably no. I'll probably have a review of that Silent Night, Deadly Night Blu-ray set for 3, 4, and 5 in the interim between our last show and
And just so you
me
guys
pick
know,
back up.
even if that kid happens to be a robot, you're still a sick motherfucker that should die.
Probably. And those are my honorable mentions. Joe, number 10 for
At
your
number 10,
favorite Christmas movies.
our favorite Christmas movie. At number 10, I have Santa from. This is also known as Santa Claus versus the Devil. Very goofy movie. Uh, I wouldn't say it's good, but I like it. It has a bit of charm.
My number 10 is a fucking weird piece of shit, but I like it. And if you like goofy, nonsensible bullshit, I would say go out and watch Bloodbeat. However, it is not for everyone. So if you like to drink and watch garbage, this is some Christmas themed garbage. Bloodbeat. It's about a haunted samurai suit of armor that happens to attack during the Christmas season. Would recommend.
At number 9, this one is pretty common and talked about a lot. It's A Christmas Story, and it's talked about a lot, and it's a favorite of many people because it's good. It's really fucking good.
This is one I could never get into. I know it's a classic and a lot of people like it, but I could never get into it. But that's okay. Number 9, what do I have, Joe? I have Krampus. It's not the best, but there's some spooky Christmas visuals in it. So for that reason alone, I would say check it out. But again, not the best.
At number 8, another one that's on probably the list of everybody that does one of these things, and that's a Christmas Vacation. Get a lot of laughs out of this movie. There's just some dumb, funny shit in it that I like.
Again, another one that I don't get. Does nothing for me. But that's okay because fucking the Cane's Chicken Restaurant is promoting that movie for some reason right now.
Maybe because the sequel came out that I haven't watched and really have no desire to.
Uncle Eddie's Island Christmas or whatever. We talked about that too, Joe.
Oh, you know what? That's right. I saw a billboard and it's like, that's Christmas Vacation. And you're like, I don't know, 40 years too late on this promotion?
Fucking pricks.
Hmm.
Number 8, I have Jingle All the Way, starring Sinbad and the Terminator. I think I watched it once a couple years ago and liked it enough to buy the DVD. So there we go. Maybe I'll watch it again this year. I do need to pull out a stack of Christmas movies since it is, halfway through the fucking month already.
It is, I remember that being an entertaining film. At number 7, I have A Christmas Carol. There's been several, too many adaptations of this Charles Dickens short story, but I'm talking about the version with George C. Scott. And I think this was like a 2-part mini series on TV, but now it's consolidated and made into one movie. So maybe there's a lot of shit cut out when you do watch it now, but George C. Scott is excellent in this, as he is in most things.
Number 7, I have the movie I talked about last week about the fucking white lady doing blow and hanging out with strippers, and that is White Reindeer. If you've never seen it, there's no better time than now if you're watching this relatively close to the time the video was made because it's a Christmas movie, you fucking idiot. Don't watch it during Easter, or do. I don't give a fuck.
At number 6, I have Rocky, which you can call this one a Thanksgiving movie or a Christmas movie because you got scenes from both of those holidays in it. And the first Rocky movie is a good movie. Good job on you, Sylvester Stallone, making my holiday list.
Number 6, I have Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. Because it's not just the second movie, it's the fucking first movie too. So there's no point in watching the fucking first movie when you could just watch a condensed version in the second one and get the classic garbage day scene. So
It's
fuck
2
that.
movies for the price of one.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you get it from, I don't know, what, Scream Factory, then you're paying, who knows how much. A lot.
It was on sale when I bought it.
Mm.
And it came with a figure. I think it was like 20 some bucks because they made a lot more than they should have.
Limited edition, nope.
Please buy it, you fuck. Yeah, I guess I will now.
Number 5 is First Blood. So this is the first movie with the character of Rambo, and a lot of people don't realize it, but it takes place during the Christmas time because the police station is decorated with, those tassels and
Garland.
garlands. There you go. That's called, and a Christmas tree. It's up. First Blood. Congratulations again, Sylvester Stallone, for making my holiday list.
Twice. Give me a second. I gotta go get the dog.
Tom is going to go get the dog, and if you see back there on his screen, dwnproductions.net is the place to go for all your mask needs. And
sorry about that.
Tom is back.
She would just start scratching on the doors, trying to wake everybody up because she woke up and she has to piss. So let's do this fast. What are we on? Number 5?
Yes.
I have Jack Frost 2, Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman, which we will talk about next week. Not as good as the first one, but I still like it.
At number 4, I have Jack Frost, which we will be talking about next week. This one is as good as the first one because it is the first one.
Good one, Joe. My number 4 is Killer Raccoons 2 Dark Christmas in the Dark. It is fucking hilarious. If you want to see little taxidermied fucking raccoons wearing little Santa hats, shooting little AK 47s on a train, this is the movie for you. Would highly, highly recommend to every and all people. Thank you. Number 3.
At number 3, I have Bad Santa, Billy Bob Thornton in one of his better roles. This is also a heist movie. So if you like a little crime mixed in with your Christmas, this is the way to go.
My number 3 is Friday After Next, the movie that made the shirt size extra medium the hottest seller at fastcustomshirts.com. If you've never seen Friday After Next, aka Friday 3, go fuck yourself. You're probably a goddamn fucking racist. Piece of shit.
We hate racism. At number 2, I have Brazil, Terry Gilliam's classic. Great movie. I fucking like this movie a whole lot. And it takes place during the Christmas times.
My number 2 is the great Norm Macdonald classic, underrated as fuck, co-starring Dave Chappelle and Danny DeVito, Screwed. If you've never seen this movie, go fucking watch it because it's awesome. This is also another one that I watch every year. Number 1, Joe. This is it.
Number 1, and I have to dig this one out to watch it again for Christmas, and that is Dia de la Bestia, or as some people like to say, Day of the Beast. This is about the Antichrist that is going to come back on Christmas night. Good movie.
Side. My number 1 we'll be talking about next week. I usually watch this one every Christmas Eve as I wrap presents. Maybe I'll do it again this year, even though I'm about to watch the motherfucker next week. And that is Jack Frost, the first one. I love this fucking movie. I know it could be better, but I just got so much nostalgia for this movie. And one of my favorite horror movies in general. Fucking love this shit. And I can't wait to clumsily talk about it in a very uninteresting way next week, Joe. And also next week, we will be talking about not only our worst movies of 2022, but our best movies as well. And then that will be our last show of 2022. So I'm sure we will also bring up how the year was and all that kind of stuff. So, like I said before, help share this fucking shit so we can get more fucking people on here giving us some goddamn fucking money at
Agreed.
places like dwmproductions.net, where you can see all my fine, fine artworks and stuff like that. And you can also give monies to
FastCustomShirts.com. Head over there. Tons of shirts to choose from. I would be happy if you just chose one. Place that order, and you'll get your shirt eventually. But if you want to order more than that, I'm not going to say no to that either. But go, you'll find something that you want, that you just got to have, that you're going to wear, and people are going to say, hey, bro, nice shirt.
I hope everybody enjoyed this fucking 18-hour long episode. And again, have a fucking great week. I hope the long December is treating you as only the long December can. And on that note, boy gob.